Welcome to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. Listen and learn what the wealthiest Americans are doing with their money and time that's different from the middle class. Learn the roadmap to financial and personal success that includes family, fitness, romance, charity, and all the parts of a balanced life. Now, here's your host, real estate investor and mentor, Steve Davis.
Hello and welcome to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. I am your host, Steve Davis, where as always we're here together working hard to improve our financial IQ, our financial literacy, because high school and college don't teach us anything about how to build wealth. They teach us how to get a job. That's about it. And it's actually worse than they just don't teach you how to get wealthy. They actually give you the wrong map to success. So they actually are harming people financially with what they're teaching. It's up to us as individuals to recognize that and go out and learn the rules of money, learn how to get wealthy on our own. You got to do it on your own. And fortunately, there's thousands of books out there. There's videos, there's online courses, there's live courses. There's everything. There's plenty of ways to find it, but you've got to expose yourself to it, because the map that high school and college gives you for success is actually wrong. It's wrong. And I can prove it by going through the map that they use. See, for this example, I want you to think back and just go with me to when you were young, very young, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you lived at home. You started home. We all started home, right? And we want to get to peace, joy, love, wealth, health, and happiness. We'll call that success. So you have your home, and way off in the distance is success. Again, peace, joy, love, wealth, health, and happiness. And what happens is people start telling us how to get to success. And the first people that tell us how to get to success are our parents. And what our parents do is they give us the map that they learned in high school and college. They give us a map that sounds something like this. Work real hard in high school. Do your best to go to college. Go to college, get a degree. Get out of college, get a high-paying job with good benefits. Scrimp and save in an IRA or 401k. Work for 45 years, retire at 65, and live off your savings. Does that map sound familiar? Of course it does. It's the map we're all given. Well, that comes from our parents first. Well, we get a little bit older and we go to high school. What do our high school teachers and counselors tell us? The same thing. They tell us work real hard in high school, go to college, get a job, work for 45 years, retire, and live off your savings. High school teaches you that. That's the path to success that they teach, the map to success. Well, some of you are lucky and you busted your butt in high school and got into college. What did your college professors and counselors tell you the map to success was? The same thing. Your college professors tell you the same thing. Get your degree, get a job, work for 45 years, retire and live off your savings. When you get out of college, what are your bosses, friends, neighbors? What do they tell you the path to success is? The exact same thing. Work real hard, work for 45 years, scrimp and save in an IRA, retire and live off your savings. Well, if you take that map and you start using it, what's going to happen is you're going to realize at some point that you're nowhere near success. That could be a financial catastrophe like what happened to me. I was lucky. At age 27, my company, I won a national sales contest. They sent me to Hawaii for a week. And when I got back from Hawaii, they cut my pay by $20,000 a year. And that financial catastrophe woke me up. And it woke me up to this fact. My map wasn't working. Others of you are not as lucky as I was. You don't wake up till midlife. You wake up on that 35th birthday, and you go 2 times 35 is 70, and you go, man, I'm halfway there. And I'm nowhere near what? Success. Well, the problem or challenge that most of you fall victim to is you begin to blame yourself. You say things like you're not smart enough. And as a result, you go get another degree, or maybe a master's. The first degree didn't make you rich, but the second one will. Some of you blamed yourself and said, I know why I'm not being successful. I'm not working hard enough. So you took a second job, or you did like I did and started working 60, 70 hours a week, thinking you'd outwork everybody. Still others of you said, it must be my attitude. It must be my motivation. That's why I'm not getting towards success. And so you took attitude and motivational courses. Here's the problem. All those things can possibly do. More formal education, working harder, working on your motivation. All those things can possibly do is get you to the wrong place faster. Because the problem is not with you. Even though you're blaming yourself, I'm telling you, it's not your fault. The problem is not with you. The problem is with the map. Guess where the people that taught us how to get to success have never been? Success. They've never been there. In other words, were your parents multimillionaires? No. Were your high school teachers multimillionaires? No. Were your college professors multimillionaires? No. Is it not possible that they gave you the wrong map to success? It's not only possible, it's probable. They gave you the wrong map. If you're not in the financial position that you want to be in, and you're past middle age, you're over 35, and by the way, 35 is middle age, not what they show you on TV. They show you the 50-year-old, 60-year-old couple. Middle-aged Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they're not middle-aged, they're old. They're not going to live to be 100, 120. Middle age is 35 to 40. 2 times 35 is 70. 2 times 40 is 80. Only 1% of Americans live past 80. So middle age is 35, 40. You need to wake up to that fact. Wake up to it, accept it, own it, and take action. Because many of you listening to me are well past middle age, and you thought you were middle aged. Okay, this is the Total Wealth Academy radio show. We'll talk more after the break. Thanks for listening.
One of the fears associated with real estate investing is that you need a lot of money to get started. This is just not true. You can get started for as little as $0 down on single-family houses. You can even invest passively in apartments for as little as $25,000, and that can be from your IRA or 401k. Remember, 9 out of 10 millionaires use real estate to become so. You can do it too. Please attend our free sample class to learn more. Visit TotalWealthAcademy.com and click on the free sample class there. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. I am your host, Steve Davis, where we're talking about the map to success and the fact that high school and college and your parents give you the wrong map to success. It doesn't work. 95% of people who use that map, scrimp and save, work for 45 years, retire and live off your savings, 95% of those people fail to successfully retire by age 65. It doesn't work. See what I mean by it's not your fault? It's not your fault. You were given the wrong map. Now, you may say, well, I'm mad at my parents, I'm mad at my high school teachers and my college professors. No, don't get mad at them. Because guess how they got the wrong map? From their parents, high school teachers, and college professors. And where did they get the wrong map from? Their parents and teachers in high school, college professors. It's just being passed on generation after generation after generation. Now, you do understand, though, that now that you've heard this, you can't unhear it. You can't unhear it. You now know that you're on the wrong map to success. It's now your fault if you don't change what you're doing. See, before it wasn't your fault because you were given the wrong map. But now that you know the map is wrong, if you keep doing what you're doing, expecting a different result, which is a form of insanity, it's your fault. You can't unhear what you just heard. It's your fault. You're letting your family down. You're letting your spouse down. It's your fault now because you know you've got the wrong map and you have to change. That's all we're doing at Total Wealth Academy. Our students are changing the way they think and the way they act, and they're building a second stream of income using real estate. And it's based loosely off of Warren Buffett's teachings from the last 60 plus years. He's been telling the American public, never rely on a sole source of income, a job. Never rely on a sole source of income. Always invest to create a second source. And that's all we're doing at Total Wealth Academy, is teaching our students how to use real estate to build a second stream of income that supplements and eventually replaces their earned income. Now, most of the members keep their jobs. This sounds funny when I say it. Most of you think, wow, if I had $10,000 a month in passive income, I'd quit my job immediately. You'll be surprised when you start having a job just because you love the job, it becomes fun again. I think everybody remembers when they first got into corporate America, how much fun it was, and exciting it was to be, I almost said building wealth, but jobs don't build wealth. To be making money and have a career path to make more money, and it was exciting. It was fun. But then, after years of doing it, it became just to pay the bills. The fun was gone. It became just to pay the bills. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, which is a miserable way to live, you're not even having any fun in your personal life. And it gets worse and worse and worse. I don't know if you know this, but did you know the hour, they can predict the hour of the week that most suicides occur? Most suicides occur between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Think about that. Most suicides occur between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Monday morning. People just had it. They don't want to go to work again for nothing. But when you have your own income stream, the joy will come back. The fun will come back at your job. Now, do all the members keep the job they're currently at? No. There's many members that change jobs because they literally hated where they were at. Didn't believe in the corporate mission statement, didn't like the management team, didn't like the coworkers. It's just a miserable environment, hostile or toxic, whatever you want to call it. They wanted out of that situation. So what happens is, as soon as a member's second stream of income meets and exceeds their bills, that's when they can make that decision. They've got their bills paid. They can quit that job and take a job that they're happy at, even if it's less money. Does that make sense? Their bills are paid by their passive income. Now the job is just icing on the cake. They quit their job, take a job that makes them happy, even if it's lower income. And some of you would say, well, what if you had $20,000 a month in passive income? For sure you'd quit your job. I'm telling you, that's not what's happening. I thought that too, but that's not what's happening. Most everybody has two income streams. A job, something they love to do with their time, and their passive income. Because I'll tell you, if you quit your job, you can, that would be by definition retire, and that has nothing to do with age. You could build your second stream of income in your 30s, 40s, 50s, doesn't matter. But if you quit your job completely, what is that? You're retired. I'm warning you. You can only play tennis, you can only play golf, you can only travel so much before you get bored out of your mind. Retirement sucks. It is not what people tell you. What people, they show you on TV how great retirement is, and you're going to travel all the time and play tennis and play golf, and it's a bunch of BS. Like I said, you can only do those selfish things so much, and then you start wondering why you're here as a human being. What's your purpose? And you start to think about how you're here to help and serve other people, and 9 out of 10 of the people I know go back to work. Now, I will tell you, they take jobs they love. They don't just take any job because it's got high pay and good benefits. They go find something they love to do. A lot of it is charity work, I'll admit that. But a lot of them are corporate America as well. A lot of them. So don't get the impression that as soon as your passive income meets and exceeds your bills or meets and exceeds all your wants and needs, you're going to retire. You might retire for a short period, but I guarantee after that period, you're going to be bored, you're going to wonder why you're here, and you're going to go back to work helping and serving other people. That's something that you love. So again, the gist of the first half of this show is to get the point across to you that if you're not in the financial position you want to be in, it's not your fault. And I hope that I proved that when I explained that you have the wrong map. But one more time, can you unhear what you heard? No. So now it is your fault if you don't change what you're doing. It's your fault. This is brutal. I get it. Do you not love your family? Do you not love your kids? Do you not want to do better? You got to get off that map. You've got to start doing what Warren Buffett says, what we say, what thousands and thousands of people are saying throughout the financial industry. It's all about a second stream of income. The only people who are succeeding in today's world have multiple streams of income. Multiple. Not just a second. Some of them have third, fourth, and fifth. I only have a second, but there's people out there with third, fourth, and fifth streams of income, and that's cool. But that's the secret, if you will. You've got to get out there. You've got to do it. You've got to take responsibility, because you know you're on the wrong map now. It's up to you to change. So get out there, get educated, and start building that second stream of income, like Warren Buffett told you to do. Oh, by the way, was Warren Buffett talking about stocks, bonds, mutual funds, gold, silver, crypto? Absolutely not, because they don't produce cash flow. What Warren Buffett was talking about were businesses and real estate. Businesses and real estate. And 9 out of 10 millionaires in the United States used real estate to produce their second stream of income. So it is the easiest, most effective way to do it. And you got to do it. Otherwise, you're going to turn 60, you're going to be broke, and you got nobody to blame but yourself. Nobody to blame. Can't blame your parents, your high school teachers, and your college professors anymore. It's your responsibility now that you know you've got the wrong map. So get out there, get the right map, and start building that second stream of income. Okay, the next thing that I'd like to talk about today is why I hate diversification. Now that one can raise an eyebrow, where people say, wait a minute, Steve, from the time I was old enough to walk, I was taught, diversify. The phrase that we're taught, and I know every one of you can finish this phrase, the phrase that we're taught is, don't put all your eggs, what? In one basket. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I'm telling you, that is wrong. And we'll talk about that when we come back from the break here on the Total Wealth Academy radio show. Thanks for listening.
Are you living paycheck to paycheck? You're not alone. 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Just having a job is no longer enough. What you need is a second stream of income, and that is what we teach at Total Wealth Academy. Our members and students are building a second stream of income by investing in single-family houses, apartments, self-storage, senior living, and more. Please attend our free sample class to learn more. Visit TotalWealthAcademy.com and click on the free sample class there. That's TotalWealthAcademy.com. Thank you.
But I want to be careful how I say this. It's the way that diversification is primarily used that I don't like. Because I am diversified inside my basket. And I'll explain what I mean by that. But the first thing you want to think about is, where did you get the idea that you were supposed to be diversified anyway? Who gave you those ideas? Well, the first place that it came from was probably your parents. Your parents probably taught you, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But I'm going to ask you this question. Were your parents ever rich? No? Then how did they know that diversification worked? They don't. They don't know. See, they've never been rich. They don't know if diversification works. The second place you're taught not to put all your eggs in one basket is high school. So I'll ask the same question. Were your high school teachers millionaires? No. Then how did they know that diversification worked? They didn't. They don't know. And it's the same when you go to college. Were your college professors millionaires or multimillionaires? No. And they told you to be diversified? They don't know. And then some of you got desperate and hired a financial planner without doing the math. And what I mean by that is, before you hired a financial planner, you should have gone to the web and Googled, how much does the average financial planner in the United States make? And you would have found that they make about 80 grand a year. About 80 grand a year. So do they know that diversification works? No. They're not rich either. See, you've got to start dictating where your ideas about money come from. You've got a bunch of ideas in your head that came from broke people, and you're using those broke principles to remain broke. It's that simple. You've got to get out there, and the way that I did it is my mentor gave me a list of books to read on diversification. One was by Peter Lynch, who's a billionaire, Sam Walton of Walmart fame, Warren Buffett, of course, and Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was a billionaire in the 1900s, early 1900s. Now, being a billionaire back then, that's something. That's like Elon Musk style success. But, well, let me ask this question. How many of you know what Andrew Carnegie said about diversification 150 years ago? The billionaire. What did he say about diversification? Now, having asked this question in front of thousands of people, I think less than 3% of people in the United States know what Andrew Carnegie said about diversification. What Andrew Carnegie said was this: put all your eggs in one basket and spend your entire life making sure nobody kicks over your basket. Now, do you see the difference there? Think about this. Every one of you knew the poor and middle class belief, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But only about 3% of you knew the billionaire belief, put all your eggs in one basket. With poor and middle class beliefs, what type of results are you going to get from your life? Poor and middle class. With billionaire beliefs, what results are you going to get from your life? Millionaire and billionaire results. That's what's going to happen. Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, Sam Walton, all at one time or another have called it de-worsification. De-worsification. Because it doesn't work. See, diversification is for asset preservation. It's not for building wealth like everybody thinks. It's there to preserve your assets. It's the safe way to guarantee that you're not going to make much money, but you're probably not going to lose much money either. That's what it is. See, what your financial planner does, or your stockbroker, to diversify you, is they put your money in something that makes you 20%. They put your money in a stock that makes you 10%, one that makes you 5%, one that makes you nothing, one that loses you 5%, one that loses you 10%, and one that loses you 20%. What's the average? About zero. And isn't that about what you're getting in the stock market? Maybe 10%. You're getting low rates of return because you're diversified. Question: why didn't your stockbroker or your financial planner put all your money in the one that made 20% rate of return? Why didn't he put all your money in the one who made 20%? The answer is simple. Because he doesn't know which stock is going to produce 20%. I'm borrowing from the Wolf of Wall Street, but this is the absolute truth. I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or Jimmy Buffett. Nobody knows whether a stock is going to go up, down, sideways, in circles. Nobody knows. It is pure risk. And they want you diversified not to make you wealthy, but to cover their rear ends, to protect themselves. It's an excuse for not knowing what you're doing. Why is all my money in real estate? Because I know what rate of return I'm going to get. I'm going to get a 20% plus rate of return. Over time, sometimes immediately, but it ends up being about a 20% rate of return, and sometimes up to 50, 60. Yes, I've done some deals that were 200, 300% rate of return, but those are rare and far between. But I know what I'm going to get. And I also know that real estate is lower risk and offers a higher rate of return than the stock market. So I put all my money in real estate. And I'm not even saying that's the right way to do it. One guy that I respect, really respect, is the Financial Samurai. If you look him up, really good information, very objective. But he keeps 50% of his assets in real estate, 30% in stocks, and 20% liquid. That's my favorite strategy. Because why? Because it's so hard to convince somebody to go all into real estate until they've done it for a while and it works. Then it makes sense to go all in. But for newbies, I think the 50 and 30 is the right way to get started. That way you're not making that full commitment. This allows you to just sample the water, if you will. Get you some real estate, watch it work, and then when it works for you, buy some more and more and more till you're financially independent. Again, it's the Financial Samurai. I think it's financialsamurai.com. I think it's something real simple. But if you just Google Financial Samurai and read his articles, he's got an especially good article on why the stock market is riskier than real estate. That will help you tremendously if you'll read it. I think the name of the article is just Stocks versus Real Estate, which is more risky. Stocks versus Real Estate, which is more risky. That's the Financial Samurai. Okay, my email is open to you. If you've got a question or comment about anything that I've shared with you today, please feel free to fire me an email. It's steve@totalwealthacademy.com. steve@totalwealthacademy.com. Okay, this I'm going to leave anonymous because he did not sign it. All my money's in an IRA. If I pull money out, I'm going to pay taxes and penalty. Okay, so he's less than 59.5. What should I do? Well, the first thing you must understand is that you don't have to pull the money out of your IRA to invest in real estate. Now, we're talking passive investment. You can't actively invest in real estate with your 401k or IRA, but you can invest passively. Here's an example. We buy a 200-unit apartment complex. Let's say it's $2.5 million down. What would happen is 25 of us would put up $100,000 each and go buy the property. You could be one of those people. The minimum investment is $25,000, and the average is probably around $50 to $100. But you could use your IRA to do that without tax or penalty, and then you don't have to deal with tenants, toilets, taxes, or anything like that. It's a completely passive investment. Now, what's the catch to it? All the profit goes back to your IRA. And if you want that profit, you got to pull it out of the IRA, pay the tax and penalty until you're 59 and a half, then you just pay the taxes. But I don't care about that because I have mentally beaten the fear of paying the taxes on my IRA money. Why? Because you owe it. I love when people go, oh, I'm not going to pull money out of my IRA because I have to pay the taxes on it. You're going to pay it sooner or later. Just do it. See, the IRA is so deceptive. You know, if you've got $500,000 in your IRA, do you really have $500,000? Nope. Subtract 20%. You've actually got $400,000 in there. You don't have $500,000. But Steve, on paper it shows me $500,000. No. You've got to take out the taxes. You can't get to that money without paying the taxes. I don't care who you are. So, get over paying the taxes, because a lot of members who are financially independent, they pull money every year out of their IRA and pay the taxes. We'll talk more after the break here on the Total Wealth Academy radio show. Thanks for listening.
To achieve financial success, you must have the right map. 95% of Americans fail to retire successfully by age 65, and it is because they have the wrong map. At Total Wealth Academy, we have the right map, the map that the other 5% use. They all build a second stream of income, and 90% use real estate to do that. Please attend our free sample class to learn more. Visit TotalWealthAcademy.com and click on the free sample class there. That's TotalWealthAcademy.com. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. I am your host, Steve Davis, and my email is open to you. I've got quite a few emails here today for some reason, so I'll try to get to as many as I can. It's steve@TotalWealthAcademy.com. steve@TotalWealthAcademy.com. Okay. Javier sent a email, how do I invest in real estate? Now that is a question that takes hours and hours and hours to answer. You know, it just depends on which style or method of investing you're going to do. You may want to start with single family houses, but if you've got $45,000 or more, then you want to skip single family houses altogether and go to big apartment complexes as a passive investor. And what I'm going to do, Javier, did I say that right? Yeah. Is I'm going to send you a link to our free sample class. We actually teach people, we have about 80 hours of training online, as well as an all-day class to get you up to speed on how to invest in real estate effectively. I'm going to send you a free sample class link. Please come to that free sample class and you can see how that works. And then the next part of his question is funny. What are the top stocks? You know, that is over my head, way over my pay grade. I do not know. I don't invest in stocks, but here I am saying put 30% of your portfolio into stocks. I just don't do it because I'm so confident with my real estate, if that makes sense. But I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is the only successful people I've ever seen in the stock market had some type of experience with what they were investing in. Like this one guy had worked for Compaq, and he invested in nothing but tech. He understood it. He was in the middle of it. He could see where the trends were. So my answer to you, what are the top stocks? Find something you're really, really, really familiar with and invest in that. Otherwise, you need to get with a fiduciary that will help you pick your stocks. But get somebody that is a multimillionaire. Even if they charge a little bit more or a lot more, you do not want to go to a stockbroker or a financial planner who makes $80,000 a year and ask them how to pick stocks. They don't know. Go to somebody who's a multimillionaire from doing it, and that's who you want to listen to. Sorry I couldn't be more help on picking stocks. Phone lines are open too. 281-558-5738. 281-558-KSEV. Or email me. It's steve@totalwealthacademy.com. steve@totalwealthacademy.com. Okay. This next email is from, I guess I'll leave this one anonymous as well. Okay, he heard the show, I guess it was last Wednesday, where I was talking about evictions. And yeah, that's what this is about. Simply put, the answer to your question, anonymous, on how long does it take to evict someone, it takes about 25 days, pretty much max. I've been able to get people out generally in 17 to 19 days. But I'm also not the best person to talk to about evictions because I've never actually evicted anyone. I've always traded cash for keys. What do I mean? When someone doesn't pay their rent, I get a hold of them one way or the other. I don't care if I have to park in front of their house for 24 hours. I'm going to get a hold of them and make an offer to them after I find out why they haven't paid their rent, because sometimes there are legitimate reasons people haven't paid their rent, especially if it's somebody that's been with you for a couple of years. So an example was one guy, just a glutton for punishment, lost his job and his wife was leaving him and he couldn't pay the rent. So what I did is I told him, look, be out by the 20th. I got a hold of him around the 6th. I said, be out by the 20th and I'll give you your security deposit back. So not only do you not have to pay the last month's rent, I'll give you your security deposit so you have some money to move. Man, that works almost all the time. Almost all the time. Sometimes they just vacate because they know you're going to evict them. But that's, they either move out or the cash for keys works. That's been my experience. In other words, when I start that eviction process, people who know that they can't pay and they're not going to pay, they move out before the court date. They're gone. And then the other people, I do the cash for keys. Pay them their security deposit back and give them money to move. And that works almost all the time. All right. Phone lines are open. Oh, no, they're not. We're at the end of the show. Sorry about that. But my email is open to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's steve@totalwealthacademy.com. steve@totalwealthacademy.com. Okay. I don't know if I've got time to answer this, but the rest of his question is, why does it sometimes take 60 to 90 days to evict someone? It's because the person did the eviction wrong. It doesn't take 60 to 90 days to evict somebody. But what happens is people will procrastinate. They don't get their rent on the 1st, and they don't get a hold of the tenant till the 6th. Then they get told they're going to get paid on the 25th. They wait till then to start the eviction, and that's why it takes 60 days. You don't do that. You start the eviction on the 4th, no matter what. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll talk again Wednesday.
You've been listening to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. Please remember that this show is for entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as legal, tax, or investing advice. Always get a professional opinion before making any investment decisions. To find out more about coaching and consulting at Total Wealth Academy, visit TotalWealthAcademy.com and attend one of our free sample classes on real estate investing. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.